Yeah. All I need is one mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic.
Hey everybody, welcome back to One Mic, where today I listen to shit so you don't have to. I'm going to talk about Kanye West's new album, Donda, and I'm going to put it out there right away. This special edition of One Mic is going to be a one-time deal. I'm not going to be doing music reviews all the time. I barely even listen to music at this point. My ear time is largely devoted to podcasts and audiobooks. I don't listen to music that much anymore, but the reason I wanted to do this is because I find Kanye West to be a very interesting person. And not just Kanye West individually, but how the impact that he has on fandom, and as far as people who love him, people who hate him, how people respond to his behavior, how people respond to his music. I find all of that to be very interesting. And I've been looking at the online comments about the album. It seems by and large everyone seems to hate it, and normally that wouldn't be enough to get me to hop onto a video and start talking about an album or something like that. But it's because it's Kanye West that I kind of feel like I wanted to get out here and talk about the album, because people struggle with how they assess Kanye West. And what I mean by that is, you've heard the phrase to separate the man from the music, or the man from the artist, or whatever it is that they put out, whether that's music or television or movies, whatever, right? R. Kelly's a good example of this. And it's very different from Kanye West, but I'm going to join the two things together. When people talk about separating the man from the music with R. Kelly, it's about whether or not, since you don't agree with what he did and you know what he did is wrong, you're probably going to go, I don't know if I can still support this man. And that is separating the man. That's not being able to separate the man from the music. You go, I don't know if I can support this guy anymore, and that's fine. That you might just feel like you can't do it, or you might be somebody who goes, you know what, like, just because I'm listening to this song doesn't mean I support what he did. But the difference with R. Kelly is that you're choosing to decide whether or not you could still support him, but you don't go and rewrite history. You don't go, oh, 12 play was whack because you don't like what R. Kelly did. But people do that with Kanye West, which I find to be very interesting and odd. Like, people act like because they don't like him now, for whatever reason, it's something he said, something he did, something he wore, the way his clothes look, the way his shoes look, whatever the case may be, people all of a sudden decide that he's like he's made no worthy contribution to hip hop or something like that. And like, if we go to the end of time, and we had a book that we could open that chronicled everything that happened in the history of time, the Kanye West section of that book will definitively talk about the massive impact that he had on hip hop. Like, you can't go, no matter how you feel about Kanye West, you can't go back and pretend like this man never made good music. I saw a comment like that on Facebook that said something like, Late Registration and 808s were the only okay things he did. Everything else was a dumpster fire. That is an intellectually dishonest person. You are full of shit if you think everything he did outside of those two albums is a dumpster fire. Like, that is so infuriating to me, because like, you have such a juvenile mind that you can't even say, like, I don't like this person, but I could still acknowledge that they have created content that is great, or created art that is great. And even worse, now you try to retroactively go back and take a classic album and say it was a dumpster fire, or in Kanye West's case, several classic albums, and say they were a dumpster fire. Like, that, I don't know why he has that impact on people, and that kind of like retroactive changing of the quality of his music because you don't like him now in 2020 is very odd and very weird to me. I, on the other hand, don't have that problem. I have the mental capacity to say 2021 Kanye West is weird and irritating. His clothes are ugly. His shoes are ugly. They're overpriced. He's a fucking weirdo. I could say all of those things and then also say I like or dislike his music as two separate things. Like, they don't have to go hand in hand. Like, saying that I like a song of Kanye West does not mean that I think he's any less weird or obnoxious. These are two separate things. A lot of people struggle with this. But because of that, I wanted to go on here and I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the album a little bit, and do it in a space where I don't have to deal with people like that. You know, if I tweeted out my thoughts, which if I had thoughts that were short enough for a tweet, I'd still probably do it. But, you know, I have a few things I wanted to say, and I didn't want this to turn into a 40 tweet thread. And then now I got people replying to it and shit whose opinions I don't give a fuck about. Like, I don't care what people think. I don't care what people think about my opinions on stuff. Like, if I think something is good and I enjoyed it, that's all that matters. If I think something is bad and I hated it, that's all that matters. There's literally nothing anyone can say that will make me change that, because I'm not easily influenced by the perceptions of others. And having said that, I still don't feel like fucking dealing with it. So, and I know people get passionate about Kanye West. So I being honest, I'm going to talk at you guys. If you guys want to start, you know, if a lot of people watch this and you guys want to argue about my opinions in the comments, or you want to argue with each other with what your thoughts on the album are, feel free. I don't give a fuck what you do, but even more so, I give less of a fuck about what you think about my opinion. So putting that out there, I'm going to give my thoughts on the album. I don't care if you like it or not. I really don't. But I know people tend to care what I think about this kind of stuff for some reason. Like I said, I'm not a music guy, but you know, when you talk about television and movies, the way that I do it, I don't just do it on this channel. I do this in my life in general. People tend to want to know my opinions on things. I did used to be into music quite a bit. So, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm some kind of expert at music. I'm not going to be doing this again. This was just my way to get these thoughts out. And if people were interested on what I feel about the album, I'm just going to direct them to this video. So, I spent about 6.5 minutes kind of talking about my thoughts on Kanye and the dynamic within the fandom. So I'm going to talk about the album. In short, I have every reason to not like this album. One, I think a lot of the bars are kind of bad. You know, when you look at Kanye West historically, you think really good beats, really good samples, raps, hooks, song. Pretty simple, right? But like this does not quite have the level of bars that I come to expect from Kanye West, at least during the golden age of Kanye West. There's some moments, but there's also some bad moments too. Some lines where I'm just like, ugh, like really? That's what you're gonna say? All right. Two, the topics are not in my wheelhouse. Like well, I can't say not in my wheelhouse. I'm very well versed on religion, but well, I'll save that for another time. I'm very well versed in religion, but as I am currently an atheist, and I will remain that way. I say currently, like that might change. It won't. But I don't choose to have gospel in my in my music soup. I take that out. And every song on here is like Jesus, God, pray, and all this kind of shit. Like I don't give a fuck about any of that. So like the topic is the theme of the album is not so much about his mother. It's more like religion and shit like that. I have no interest in that. And hey, if that's your shit, that's your jam, hey, do you. But not mine. If somebody had said, hey, like pretty much every song on this thing is like some Jesus and God shit, I'd probably been like, yeah, I'm not gonna listen to that. But yeah, so that's number two. Number three, I think a lot of the beats are very similar to one another, right? You got these organ synthesizer type sounds. You got some heavy bass. You got a lot of fucking auto-tune. A lot of that whining through auto-tune that he likes to do. That Lil Wayne does like way over the top. It's pretty repetitive at times, I guess would be the best way to put it. Then you have the duration of the album. It's a long album. I'm not gonna lie, but one of the things that I find interesting in the reception of it is that people complain about the length of the album when we used to want this. Like back in the like late 90s, early 2000s, we find out somebody put out a double album. We're like, oh shit, how many songs? Oh, it's got 24 tracks on it. Oh shit, like that was a thing that we used to like. And now artists are putting out songs that like if you find a rapper that put out a song that's more than 3 minutes, you might as well play the lotto, because they don't even fuck. Like 2.5 minutes is about the average length of a rap song nowadays. And then they'll put out a 10-track album. It'll be 27 minutes long. And I look at that and I'm like, this is okay with y'all. Like this isn't even artistry at this point. This is just making some shit you can loop on Spotify and they can get plays on it. Like, these aren't people trying to put out works of art. These are people trying to put out some shit that you're just gonna have to repeat over and over because it's catchy. It repeats the hook over and over, and it's only 2.5 minutes long, so it's over before you can blink. So I feel like we've been getting ripped off by artists, and I can't really say ripped off because, I mean, if you're not buying, at least most of us anyway, aren't buying like albums anymore. You're just kind of like, running it on Spotify or Tidal or Apple Music, whatever. But the length of the album is still, I don't want to say off-putting, but it is surprising. And we've been kind of conditioned now to accept these albums that are 25 to 35 minutes, and he puts out something that's like an hour and a half. So like, 27 songs is a lot. I mean, we'll say 27 tracks, or is it 26? I think it's 27. Let me look. I have the track list up here. 27, yeah. So 27 tracks, that's a lot. And I feel like I would look at that and go, oh, I don't know about all that, man. But at the end of the day, I gotta say, I think I like this album. And I know that's not with the popular opinion, but like I said at the top, I don't give a fuck what you think. I think I like this album, and I think what a lot of people are struggling with, and this is in addition to the whole idea of like, I don't like Kanye West, so if I can't say I like his music. I think people struggle with that, and I think that's a large part of the reason for the backlash, not just from this album, but for his last few albums, is the fact that people don't like him now. And for some reason, they think that if they say that they like something that he did, then that somehow means that they like him or something. So they automatically have to say, boo to this, I don't like it. But I don't have that hang up. But I think another thing that people struggle with in addition to that is the change in style, right? Like I've said before, I can't say like I said before because I don't know if I said it on this video. I started to record another one and I fucked it up, and I'm just start over. So I don't know if I said it in that video or if I said it earlier in this one. But we used to have a very simple formula for Kanye West stuff. He just did it really well. Dope beat, probably got a dope sample in it from some old 70s jam that we all know and love. Dope rhymes, and you got verse, hook, like a simple, a normal recipe for a rap song, right? Now I think, and this is just me kind of like spitballing here. I don't know what the guy's going for. He's very hard to understand. He very, very rarely makes sense when he says or does anything. But I kind of feel like this album is more of a vibe than it is a rap album. And I don't even like and I'm not using the term vibe in that way, like how it's kind of like current and trendy to say it now, like, oh, this is a vibe. I don't mean it like that. I mean it very literally like a vibe. Like, you got these organ sounds. You got a lot of organs. You got a lot of like synthesizer kind of sounds. You got a lot of auto tune. You got a lot of heavy bass. And I feel like it's supposed to be more of like a sonic experience than it is like, again, verse hook over sampled beat. And the reason I say that is because I think a lot of, sorry, my leg itches. I don't give a fuck. I think that a lot of what I hear when I'm listening to it is, I think it's less so about this is what I'm saying and I think it's dope and here's a song. It's almost like his words are less meant to be, I guess, looked at as like these are dope lyrics, and more so like sounds that kind of marry together to kind of sound sonically pleasing in a way. I know I think I'm struggling to explain this. Maybe you get it, but the organs, the bass, even his voice are all meant to be different types of sound that come together to create something that sounds okay to your ears. And I found myself kind of like, I turn on a song and I'm like, oh, I don't know about this. It just kind of sounds very basic. And then here he comes with the auto tune and I'm like, oh, he's just not making hip hop no more, man. Like, what is this? But I kept letting it play. And as I kept letting it play, I'm driving while I listen to it. That's another thing. I've listened to the album twice, hour and a half long. I listened to the whole thing twice. And the entirety of that time, so we're talking about 3 hours, I listened to it in the car. And I like to listen to it in the car because I feel like if I turn it up loud and I feel like I can hear and experience it better than I can if I was listening off my phone speakers or through my AirPods or anything like that. You can just get, I feel like it's more of a surrounding experience. Like you can be immersed in it more if you're listening to it pretty loudly in your car. Not loudly enough where it's just like, but like loudly enough where you can hear the little things that maybe you wouldn't hear if you were just listening on your phone speaker. So I feel like I had the best listening experience for it. And I find myself as the songs will play, like starting to like actually feel it. And it wasn't like just not like I like this beat or something like that. It's more like I said, it's more like an experience almost. It's like a vibe. Like, I don't know, it's tough to explain, but you know, when I listened to it through the first time, I was starting to kind of get that impression. Like, okay, I feel like this is more of an experience and a vibe than it is like dope song, dope song, dope song, dope song. And when I went through it a second time, that's when I was like, okay, I think I like this album, because I noticed that, you know, by this point I was kind of prepared to you know, say like, okay, I like this song, I'm going to listen to this song. Oh, I don't like this song. I know I don't like this song, so I'm going to skip it. I was more in that mindset. That's kind of how I do when I listen to something. If I'm trying to listen to it closely, I'll kind of give it a spin the first time, and then the second time, once I'm hearing that song again, now it's like my brain almost like clicks, like I like this or I don't like this. And I found myself the second time through not having a desire to skip anything. Like just like letting it wash over me, I guess would be the best way to put it. And I feel like it's one of those things I say this, if you watch my videos, I say it on these videos a lot, that something is something where you should just like get high and just like enjoy it. That's how I feel about this album. And I'm not saying you need to get high or anything like that, but I feel like this would be a thing where like if you get high and put this on, you will vibe the fuck out to this album. Like, and it's something like that. But you know, it started off all bad. Like this thing, Donda chat, like so self-indulgent. Like I understand that his mother passed and the title is after her and all this, but no one wants to hear that but you. Like no one listened to this and was like, yo, this is dope, just hearing his mom's name over and over again. No one thought that. At least I don't think anyway. But got off to a bad start. But like the jail, God breathed on this, and then the Off the Grid. Off the Grid is probably, I don't know if it's my favorite song, but it's top 3 probably. Those 3 just kind of like, I felt like Jail and God Breathe were kind of like, again, like its own collective vibe. And then Off the Grid was kind of like more like a song in the more traditional sense. And I'm just kind of like, and then it kind of goes back to the vibe again with the Hurricane and Praise God and Jonah. Those all kind of felt like a vibe to me as well. Like they're almost meant to sonically be experienced together. And then the Okay Okay again felt more like a traditional song. And it seemed to kind of like develop that pattern where you have like vibe, song. And then I found myself enjoying the vibe every time, even though like I said at the top, the beats feel kind of repetitive at times, but I think that's because it kind of feels like they're all meant to be consumed in like a group like that. And then you get to the individual songs, and I think all the songs that are more traditional and how we look at songs, I thought all those were dope. So like Off the Grid, one of my favorite songs. Okay Okay, one of my favorite songs. Heaven and Hell, one of my favorite songs. Jesus Lord. Like, I would never look at a track list and go, Jesus Lord is gonna be my favorite song. It's just like 9 minutes long, although it has like 2 minutes of Larry Hoover's kid talking, which you could have made that a separate track so it could be easier for me to skip it. But Jesus Lord, dope. Tell the Vision, that Pop Smoke kind of like excerpt kind of thing, dope. Pure Souls, I think, is one of the best songs on the album. And people talking about they missed the old Kanye West. Pure Souls felt like an old Kanye West song. The one that had like the Lauryn Hill sample. I can't remember which one that is, but that one was dope to me. Even like the No Child Left Behind. Again, it's like a vibe. Like it's not like if you look at it as a song, you might be like, oh, this is whack. But if you kind of look at it as just something that you're just supposed to experience, at least that's how I felt about it. It just sounds pleasing to me. I don't know. I don't know why that is. And then he has these part 2s at the end of like all the better songs. Jail Part 2, Okay Okay Part 2, Junior Part 2, Jesus Lord Part 2. I like all of those with like different. You got different guest verses. Like there's only like a couple of songs on here that I didn't like. Obviously, I don't like the chants at the beginning. I don't like the other one that was just Donda and it was like his mom talking. I think I skipped over that because I want to actually hear I want to hear songs. Like I don't want to hear that shit. And then I think there was like two that surrounded. Yeah, so I like this Remote Control song with Young Thug. 24, which was before it, and Moon, which was after it. I didn't really care for those. And then I didn't really care for Come to Life. I think it's toward the end. I thought Come to Life was just okay. Other than that, I think I liked all the rest of the songs on here, either individually or collectively. And I think that, again, like, you might listen to this, you viewer of this, and you might, this is not what I expect out of Kanye West. And it's not what I expect out of Kanye West. But I think when I decided to stop looking at it as a expectation of traditional Kanye West, like not coming into this thinking I'm gonna get something like Graduation, right? He's not doing that anymore. He's not capable of that. He's weird now. He's doing some other shit. Don't look for Graduation here. When I started to kind of just relax and experience the album, I really felt myself vibing to it. And I'm like, I kind of fuck with this, man. Like, and like I said at the top, I have every reason to not like this. Every reason. But there's just something about the feel of it, the energy of it. I like sonically, it just resonates with me for some reason. And then when you do get the individual song, the things that are like kind of like more traditional songs, they're really good. Like I said, Pure Soul is like Pure Soul or Souls, Souls. Like that's like an old Kanye West song. So like, I fuck with this album, man. I fuck with it. I like I said, I went through the whole thing twice, and that's like 3 hours. Like, once I got through the second time, I'm like, yeah, you like this. You listen to the whole thing twice, 3 hours. You like this. One thing I will say though, like this is one of those things where I think you have to approach it from it's not for me perspective. If somebody says they don't like this album or this album is, even if they say this album is whack, because that's two different statements. Saying you don't like it is more like it's not for me. Saying this album is whack is saying that it is objectively bad. I will usually argue this album is whack point. I was like, this is not whack. It's good because it's quality because of blah 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 blah. Because these are things that you can prove, good or bad, but you can't prove or disprove how someone feels about something. Like if you feel it's not any good, or like not any good, but if you feel like you don't enjoy it, what the fuck am I arguing with you for? Like I'm not trying to make you enjoy it because I don't care what you think. I only care about whether or not I enjoy it. And then two, like that's your personal experience. That's how how you feel about it. If you don't derive any enjoyment from listening to it, don't listen to it. That's fine. But if someone made either case, I don't enjoy this on one, or this is whack, I wouldn't argue with either of them. I could see how people would feel that this is whack. I could see how people would say, I don't enjoy this. I think it's one of those, it's not for me situations, at least from my perspective. And this is the case that I make a lot on other things, the things that people like The White Lotus. I enjoyed The White Lotus a little bit, like the TV show. For those of you who might be listening to this that don't know, I generally review TV and movies. But it just wasn't for me. Like it wasn't something where I was just like, oh, this is incredible, like everyone else was saying. And I've done that before where I can say like, I can see how this is good. I could see why people like it. It's just not for me. And I feel like now I'm on the other side of that, where I can see why people don't like this. I can see how it is not for them. I can see how this would make them angry, or they would say it's bad. I understand every piece of that. But I just fuck with it, man. It's just for me. Like, I don't know why. Because even if someone described it the way that I described it, well, I can't say the way that I described it because I feel like I'm doing a good job of explaining why I liked it. But like when I say described it, like talking about like the organs, the auto-tune, the heavy bass, the way a lot of the vibes are constructed. If someone described that to me, I would say I'm not gonna like that. But fuck, here we are. I enjoyed this album, man, and that's why. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. For those of you who are curious about whether or not I like this album, there's your answer, and there's your reasoning behind it. I also gave some reasoning for why I think people struggle with Kanye West music. So there's a talking point for you as well. For those of you who might have arrived at this page looking for Kanye West Donda reviews, I don't review music. So, but I hope you watch TV and movies, because that's where I'm at. That's what I cover here. So if you fuck with my analysis on this album, I bring this same level of energy and analysis to my TV and movie reviews. Don't bother asking me to review any more albums. I'm not going to do it. Like I said, the only reason I did this is because I had a lot more to say than what I would put out in tweets or on Facebook or something like that. And I wanted to put it out in an avenue where I could say it, put it out there, kind of like talk at you guys. And I don't have to deal with anybody bitching at me in my mentions. Oh, this shit is whack. I don't give a fuck what you think. So you can bicker in the comments if you like, if you watch it, whatever. But if you know, let me know what you think. If you're you know, respectful and not an asshole, I'll probably reply to you. I reply to almost all the comments on all my other videos. So I'll reply to these as long as you keep it 100 and don't just be coming at me just like, yeah, this shit's dumb. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay, well, fuck you. I can delete your comment if I want. Now you don't even exist on this planet to me. But I'm gonna wrap this up. And if you're one of my regular viewers, one of my regular subscribers, I'm gonna drop a Ted Lasso video probably later today as well. And I will see you guys then. Peace.